Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of How to Start a Board Game Company. I'm Jay Cormier from Off the Page Games. Now this is our first video after the Kickstarter has been finished, wrapped up, and if you haven't been following along, it was a huge success. So we had a target of 45,000 Canadian and ended up at $191,611 Canadian. So fantastic. So really, for those of you that backed the game, obviously, thank you very much. What is this video update about? I want to talk about updates, and I want to go through kind of what I did for updates and my kind of theories and how I think updates should go. So let me take you through my updates very briefly to understand the key things about updates. All right, so the first update I posted was at the end of the first day from a daytime perspective before I went to sleep, which was of this one. Of course, update 1, you did it, you helped us fund in 14 hours. And so I had a quick little graphic put together just with the, the mind management. Matt did this really quickly, and the funded thing, just for something graphical to be excited about. And if you had watched my previous videos, you know that I wrote some of this out in advance, but I obviously had to tweak a lot of it because of what happened. So yeah, I'm so stunned. Thank you so much. A dream come true. I like doing this, using your headers and bolding certain things to help things pop out, and using graphics. And I didn't use too many graphics in this one, but I will in the upcoming ones. So I talk about what's next. Well, we'll talk about the stretch goals. So the stretch goals, we have this. Next stretch goal, we have this. That third stretch goal, we have that. I'm not going through it in detail. I'm just showing you what I did. Then I talked about the fact that you can play the game with me. That's something I did on my campaign, is where you can actually, every day I updated the board state and we played the game in the comment section. And my comments were off the roof. They were amazing. Off the roof? Is that an expression? I don't know. And then I was able to share a brand new video that wasn't part of the launch. So this came in midway through the day. Quackalope did a set up and play. So this is fantastic. I had the review video, but I didn't have this. So this is fantastic to be able to share new media. Some media, I actually asked them to delay so that I would have things to post throughout the campaign. So that's kind of a tip as well. And then always end with something about what you can do to help. Hey, please share it. Here's a link to a media kit. So I had a media kit with images and avatars that they could use if they wanted to, and asked about giving a thumb, because a really good tip is on Board Game Geek is to have a new image come up right near the beginning of your campaign, and then ask people to give it a thumb, and that makes it climb the hotness ratings, and that could give you more eyeballs as well. So that was post 1 on the end of the first day. So then I ended up doing another post the next day. Now, we're going to talk about, as we go through this, my timing for updates. I personally don't like to have too many updates. I think even an update a day might be too much. Maybe if it's a shorter campaign, it might be okay. But mine was a 30-day campaign, so I definitely didn't want to do an update every day. So I tried to space them out. I was trying to do every other day, but sometimes just things were happening really fast. And this is another kind of a good tip here, is that 3 stretch goals unlocked. Amazing. That was my title. And it's because the very first 2 or 3 stretch goals should be very small increments, obviously making sure they're worthwhile and they make sense for you so that you can hit them, and they make sense budgetary reasons. But if you can, try to find stretch goals that are smaller so that you hit them faster, and it really helps with that perceived momentum. And so I gave a few numbers after the first 2 days. We were at 63,000, 140% funded. You want that whole impression of success. And if you are having success, then definitely you have to talk about it. You have to shout it out, saying, hey, this is amazing. You got to be part of this, and all this kind of stuff. Because remember, everybody that clicked pledge for $1, which is something that I strongly believe you should always have, they get these updates. And so you want to make sure you're selling the excitement, and the momentum is building, and you got to get on this thing. And then I talk about, so what did we unlock? Well, we got a new setup card, we got new art, and a unique meeple. And this is another tip. I would say within your first 3-ish, 4-ish stretch goals, it'd be great to have something in which your backers, your community, can get involved in, hopefully potentially with a poll of some sort. And so for us, we have this little recruit meeple, which could have just been a normal meeple. And instead, we said, well, we can make that a custom shape. We can have the manufacturer carve it into whatever shape we want. And I asked Matt to come up with a few options. And I literally was thinking they were all going to be looking like people, but with like one with a hat and one with a gun or something. And he came back with these mind-blowing iterations here, where they're just totally weird and wild. And we had people vote. And there's definitely different ways you can vote. I wanted to keep a lot of action in the comments section. I just think a very strong comment section kind of indicates an engaged campaign, and I think that helps some people go, wow, a lot of people are chatting about this, so that'll help with that image. And so you just go into the comment section and you vote. I'm voting for dolphin face gun or scream face, and then I would keep track of as we went of the totals, and by a certain date, less than a week I think it was, because it was March 4th, 5 days later, we were going to see what shape won. And just as an FYI, it was kind of neat. We have one that won. It was the scream face. I got some samples in, and this is kind of what it looks like for those that want to see it. Now, what's cool about this, I was thinking of painting these, like, like, I don't know, possibly the orange or black or whatever. But what's cool is, because we're going to keep it this wood color, because now you get to see the light wood on the one side and then the dark wood, and you really get to see, do you see the two faces? See how it's a profile and then a screaming face inside it? Sometimes I have to turn it a little bit and you see the screaming face there. And then if I turn it this way, you see, well, the other face there. So cool. So that is a sample from my manufacturer, so that's pretty cool. Then I always talk about what next, what's the next few stretch goals here at this level, this level, this level. I always like reminding people it's Canadian dollars, because I don't have the ability to choose my own currency in Kickstarter. I have to do it in Canadian dollars. So a lot of Americans definitely think, oh, that's going to be a long way till we get certain, different stretch goals. Again, using bold when appropriate, and then talk about what else is going on. Here's where I talked about the secret mission, and some people are already on it. And that was pretty cool. And also talked about we called it the hashtag Capture J. This was the fact that you could play the game with me online. And here's another, again, what can you do this time? Telling people, hey, go to the media kit and you can get these avatars. You can use those if you'd like to help kind of spread the word. And then also we have the new art for the inside of the mental screen. So that was one of the stretch goals that was unlocked. New art for the inside of the mental screen. And boom, and we get to show it off, what the new art looks like, which is super weird and cool and just amazing. So this is, anytime you can show off new art during campaign. So obviously Matt had that ready at the beginning, because we assumed correctly that we would hit that stretch goal. So, but it's good to have that so you can then show it off. So that's a good tip. And then let's keep going through. That's that. Then the next one was 2 days later, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, yeah. So now we're going every other day, which is great. Again, what have we achieved? We hit 2 more stretch goals, and that's just so amazing. And we got the time token and thickness. We have a new video review. So this was from Unfiltered Gamer. This one was one of the ones I staggered, asked them to not release it in time. So that's just gives more things to talk about. What's next? We talk about a whole new sealed package that we get. Solving the rules challenge with sealed package games. So this was just a nice little aside here, where a reason why I did this was actually to give those that were playing the secret mission that was online during my campaign a hint. There was a hint here in this fluxsafehouse.com. It's a website that I had created that we used during the campaign to hide some things in the secret mission, and it was pretty fun. But it actually will be a useful website going forward, where I will hide some more information for the actual game, as well as special rules for any of the sealed shift system components. Extra rules will be in there for those that, so it'll allow me to kind of keep it up to date. And then this time for the playing the game with me, I gave an updated picture of the board state so people could see what it was and how it was played. And how I did it was every day I would say, hey, at this time, tomorrow at 4 p.m., whoever has the first comment with this hashtag in the comment section, that's the move I'll make for you guys. So that kind of worked really well. And again, please help spread the word. So this is kind of what I'm going to do. So we'll see how many more of these I will go through. Well, so now this is something I kind of missed the boat on. I realized I didn't have a nice look to it. So I created a header, a mind management kind of header to give it a graphical, look at the beginning, update 4, and kind of made it look like it was burned paper and everything like that. So that was something I was able to do. I realized I probably should have made it a bit longer. I don't know why I cut it off here. That's kind of weird. I just noticed that now. Anyways, we had a designer diary. It felt like every day or 2 days, this is now 2 days later, so this is 2 days later, I had something to talk about. So I was really excited that we always had something to talk about. Okay, now there's a new designer diary. Go check that out. What did we unlock? Well, we got a new stretch sealed package. What's next? Well, we have a new comic book that we're going to get. We're going to have another thing that we're going to vote for. What goes on the back of the recruiter board? Currently, it's blank. So what can it go? And so that's, again, going to be another poll if we hit that. That's at 100K. And here's a list of how to engage with this in campaign. You can do any of these things to have fun and engage with campaign. You can ask the designer a question. You can ask Matt Kate. You can play the game with us. You can participate. So I'm now actively encouraging and motivating people to engage with the campaign. Vote on your meeple choice. That was still going on, right? Visit KickTrack and check out the KickTrack, or share this campaign. And kind of, again, now using bullet points and bolding to make sure everything's very, very easy. So again, always thanking people. Thank you very much. I always called people agents. I thought that was kind of on brand for this campaign. Now, when we hit 1,000 backers, which was just the next day, it felt like that was important to talk about, but also the fact that the secret mission was solved was great. So it took a week for everybody to solve the secret mission, which is pretty cool. People were pretty engaged with it. It was pretty wild. But I did learn that while a handful of people were very engaged, like uber engaged with the secret mission, I probably could have done more to make it a bit more inclusive and kind of hold a few hands a few days into it to get other people interested in kind of bait them into the game, because I probably got a little too confusing for people and not knowing what to do. So now I'm using this template here. So update 5 had another review come out, this time from Hungry Gamer, so I got to post that again. So amazing. Talking about you got to show the art for the Meeple winner. This is what the art looks like. Now you've already seen, I just showed you what the actual component looks like. Even got to show off art for the cover of the comic that was unlocked. So that's pretty cool. That's brand new. And the wooden step token, that was a stretch goal, and Matt was able to show what that looks like. So a lot of new art reveals in this update. So that's always really popular and gets people talking and whatnot. And this one was cool again, because again, there's that face inside there. So cool. So anytime you can show art, great. Update 6. Now, what are we at here? March 13th. So now a couple days have passed. 3 days. First off, thanks again. Always say thanks. New poll for extra content. Because I said you caught me in the game of mind management. So they were playing. They ended up catching me right here. Here's what my board looked like. So I kind of give it like a summary, which is fantastic. Great job. But when they caught me, this was another opportunity for me to have a poll. And the poll was what you want added to the game because you caught me. You can have a new recruiter, a new rogue agent, or a new ally. And I kind of explain what that means and what you get with it. And again, put a date of when it's going to be over. And this one I learned from my first one, because it got hard to kind of keep track of all the votes. And so for this one, every single comment somebody voted, I said, thanks for your vote. And then I gave a running total of, for each of these 3 options, what the one that was winning was. So that really made it a lot easier to kind of follow along. Then I announced a Capture Sen, because we were going to now play the game all over again, but instead of Capture J, you were now going to capture Sen, the co-designer for the game. And we got to play the full game instead of the training mission, so that was fantastic. I reminded people that you could save on shipping. As a cool tip I learned from Helena Capel, my Kickstarter consultant, is that maybe don't charge any more for people ordering more than one of your game. So if they order 2, 3, 4, 5 games, you don't charge any more for shipping. And it seems at one hand, it seems like, well, that's silly because you're going to be paying more for shipping, and sure you are. But what it does encourage people to do, it encourages them to get their friends to buy it, to ask around, like, who else is buying this? You want to go in together on it? And yeah, you might lose some money here and there, but people put posts up on Board Game Geek saying, hey, here's a group buy opportunity from this community. Who wants in on it? And I saw those pop up on Board Game Geek, and I think it's worthwhile. And I had to keep talking about the secret mission needing help, because we had the result of it needed people to tweet or Facebook post some messages out, some images out, as again a way that I got to have my backers help promote it. I didn't have any social stretch goals. A lot of people have like, oh, this many Facebook likes or Twitter followers, and that'll unlock stuff. I didn't do that for this campaign. Didn't feel like I needed it. Instead, I focused on the secret mission, which was posting images of my campaign on their Facebook and Twitter and whatnot. So I think in that way, I think that was a big thing. Give a thumb to Board Game Geek. We made it to the #1 image for this one, and I think we ended up making #2 for this image. So again, when one image goes out, then put another image up. So throughout your campaign, try to always have an image on Board Game Geek just to keep it rising high and people's eyeballs on it. Somebody posted that there's an ability to read the mind management comics for free, so I shared that with everybody. There's like a library link where you can borrow the book digitally online, which is really cool. And then this is the only time I did it during the campaign. Some people asked, what am I backing? And I talked about the three things that I backed during this campaign. So that's kind of cool. I like when creators do that. And then I don't know how many more I'll go through here. Big milestone, Jake captured a new poll. So there's a new milestone because we got the 100,000 Canadian. So that means they have to vote on what do they want on the back of the recruiter board, which is that secret board. And that was a huge engagement thing. Like I saw more comments that day than almost any other day because people were very passionate about mostly it was between these two, Just Features and New Comic. And Just Features was the fact that this board is a replica of it's a small board, and it's a replica of the big board that people play on. And so you could have on the back just another one of those if you wanted to, so that maybe just prolongs use of the because it's double-sided. Or instead, maybe it's just the features, so everything else is white and it'll make everything pop a lot more. Or thirdly, a brand new comic from Matt Kindt. And it was really interesting to see that one, because some people came to this project because they love the comic, and some people came because they love board games. And so it was funny to see, and I was happy to see that the new comic won that poll. So that was pretty wild. And the Capture J poll results came in, and so they voted for a new rogue agent, so I got to announce that. Got to announce a new stretch goal. This time I was smart and had art for everything, but 110, 115,000, another, and then talked about the Capture Sen launching, and then the secret mission, again, asking for help. And I give a little blurb, a little readout to Matt Kindt's latest comic, Bang, and here's an interview with Matt that was aligned to this. That was pretty cool. And what was also cool about this was issue 2 hits the stand this week, and you should check it out because there's an ad for our Kickstarter. There was an ad for this Kickstarter in a comic book, in Matt Kindt's comic book. Wild. And again, asking people to share. And my management's growing fast. Always have titles that are very positive and like feels like you're going to be exploding and going viral and catching on fire, like that kind of a thing. Oh, here's the ad in Matt Kindt's new comic book, Bang, issue 2. So that was pretty wild. Really funny, really on brand with type of kind of funny and secret words everywhere and everything. I got interviewed by Sen on his show, Meeple Syrup. And so I talked about that. And then we got Tabletopia up during the campaign. So that's fantastic. So Mind Management now, people could actually play it, which is huge. And then a lot of people were asking about the mental screen. So I wanted to call that out because a lot of the reviewers were saying that it was too small, which it was. And I should have done a better job in letting them know that that's not the final size. So I tried to call that out. A few more interviews came up. So these are new things, reminding people about the poll. Like it felt like there's lots of stuff to talk about. Every single one. Huge announcement. This was a huge one. Halfway through the campaign, I announced that there's a solo and co-op potential, but we have to get to 175,000. And at the time, we were just over 100, 110, 120 or something like that. And so that was a huge announcement that we could get a solo and co-op. And it was tough because I initially wanted to do it at 200,000. And obviously in hindsight, I'm glad I didn't. I was convinced to lower it to 175. And then the Meeple Syrup show that I was on, you can check out the recording. So again, something new to talk about all the time in every single update. One day left for poll. I asked in this one if the people wanted sleeves. Would they want branded sleeves or not? Then there was a Board Game Spotlight playthrough, a new playthrough that just went live. So lots of content and things every time. We hit 125,000. And in this one, talking in, what do we unlock? And we got to see some videos of Matt doing what he does, including showing that he kind of made a GIF of him creating the board for Mind Management, which I thought was really cool. And through going through all the different iterations and the layers and how he lays it all out. And I'm like, oh, that's pretty wild. That's just neat to see the process of how it gets all made. That's wild to see. Isn't that cool? Yeah, I love it. Really cool to see that. So anyways, if you can get some video of your artist doing art for your game, that's just more content you can talk about. Had a new interview from Quackalope. Those guys they're just trying to add value to my campaign all the time. More poll results about the secret map will be the new comic. I talked about that. But because so many people like the just features, I kind of showed a mock-up of what the feature board could, the recruiting board could look like. We could make the map not just white, but just kind of make it paler so that the features really pop out, and that got a good response. Updated people with a secret mission, included a graphic reminding people that you can do the group buy discount, and again reminding people that the game is being played right now online with Sen. Again, and the reminder that you can play on Tabletopia. Lots of excitement, lots of news. You should never be struggling to talk about stuff. Hopefully you just have planned things to go out and appropriately so that you're always talking about stuff. Talking about what are the next stretch goals. And you see, I'm only doing like every 5,000 because my stretch goals are sometimes really small. Like UV coating doesn't cost that much. Another 2 dry erase markers, that's a little bit of money. Changing a mind slip token into a wooden mind slip token. And so this is kind of what it looks like here, which is really cool. My claim to fame for this whole game now is that I designed this token, like entirely. This is all me. I'm pretty excited about that. Matt did 100% of everything else, and I did the mind slip token. And I actually announced a new secret mission too because we finished secret mission 1. Oh no, we didn't. We still needed 11 more people to post it. But I had a secret mission 2 with secret codes and whatnot, and a new interview with Matt. Just always stuff going out. Then I just did one post, one update, where there wasn't lots of stuff to talk about, so it was good timing of here's what you can do to help our campaign. Because I wanted to make sure the last 8 hours really hit. And so I kind of talked about why that's important. And then here are the ways you can help this campaign grow. You can post in Facebook groups. And here's some Facebook groups I'm familiar with, boom, 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 with links to them. So it goes right to that thing. And I did see people do this. So this actually did pay off. There were some really passionate people, especially those who were passionate about hitting that co-op stretch goal at 175. They really wanted people to talk about it. So that worked out. I was unfamiliar with Reddit, so if people know how to talk on Reddit, that would be great. Or help with the 2 secret missions. You just have to post these 3 images here, and you unlock a whole new secret package. And you can unlock a new ally card by doing this other thing. So there was different missions going on that I was trying to walk them through it. And you can share any of the content below. So if you don't know what to talk about, well, there's new interviews. Look, I even had new interviews with Hungry Gamer. Byron Bendis recommended My Magic Comic. That's a new thing. A video of Matt Kent writing a comic book. That was new he posted. Not related to this campaign, but just still Matt Kent is obviously part of this campaign. So just neat to see his process. And all these other things, here's what you can post. So that's anything you can do to make it easier for your people to help you communicate and share is great. Then I announced a live stream, Ask Me Anything. I wish I would have done this more in advance, like really planned it out, like next Friday, like, or whatever date it is, but a week in advance, let people know I'm going to do an Ask Me Anything. That would have been better, but I did it like the next day. Like this is the 27th, and I said the next day. And I did it because the 28th was my birthday. And I thought that would be kind of a fun excuse and reason for people to come and at least come and say happy birthday and check out if that's all they wanted to, but at least a reason to do that. So there's a kind of advertising for it and a link for it. And 4 days left, Pledge Manager info, retailer info update. So I gave an update about what's going to happen with the Pledge Manager, about retailers and how they get they're going to be getting information, and talking about new stretch goals that were announced, like a comic on the back of the main board now, and a final sealed package, and then of course at 175 the solo and co-op app. And then I got to show people the images of the tokens. Anytime you can show them the process, I think is fantastic. And then it feels like I made one mistake in this thing, is that was the last campaign update I posted, update 15, because I thought I posted a 48-hour one. I literally wrote it all out. And I posted it to Facebook. I posted it in a MailChimp to all my email subscribers. I did everything, and I just did not make an update about it. So now it looked like there was no updates for the last 4 days, which is so strange. I'm so upset that I missed that. So the very next update is like, we did it, and I got to show a little. Actually made a video thanking people, which is a nice thing to do. And talked about what the next steps in the process. And then I made a survey, which I think is a pretty cool idea. So I asked some questions about what made them, maybe I'll save that for another video, but I talked about what was the reason why they backed it and all this kind of stuff. So that was pretty cool. And what's next for Off the Page Games, and a special thanks section to everybody that helped. So that's all the updates I did, and maybe went on a little too long, sorry for that, but just gives you a little bit of information about the thinking that went into my head about what goes in an update and why you should be talking about it and how often, the frequency and that stuff. So hopefully found a little value in that. Thanks for hopping in and checking this out. Talk to you later.